Make no mistake about it, Offset being married to Cardi B definitely helped and elevated his career. Period. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? I want to talk about this Offset and Cardi B breakup and offer a different perspective because I'm seeing a lot of commentary and folks, throwing shots at both parties or whatever, and folks are making fun of Cardi B and all these things, but we need to talk about the history and their relationship. Now, I know this is celebrity stuff, but I want to offer insight of how men benefit from being married to women like Cardi B, specifically men in the industry. Offset is a rapper. He was in the group Migos that have broken up, and Cardi B being married to Offset definitely elevated his career more. Folks will say, well, no, Offset was doing pretty well. Yes, he was doing pretty well when he was in a group with Migos, but after they broke up, a lot of their single albums were not doing...
It wasn't doing that much numbers.
They weren't doing that much numbers. And now that we see that Cardi B has came out and, said that her and Offset are no longer together, we all heard the audio of the live stream that she did and her calling out Offset and saying, some very interesting things I can't share on here, but it was heartbreaking hearing the pain in her voice. And while some of the people were making fun of her, I could not help but to remember 5 years ago to the day, December, sometime in the middle of December, week before Christmas, that Cardi B was performing at Rolling Loud out in LA. And this was around the time that they had broke up. Like Cardi B had just said she didn't want to be, whatever. Y'all remember, because 2018, whew, it was a lot going on, but they had broke up. And he showed up to her performance and had these flowers and stuff and was trying to get her back. Y'all remember that he was on the Get Back Cardi tour. Like, he was doing that full. And you know what? You're not telling me for a second that Offset was not just trying to get back with her because he missed her or whatever. He also knows that he needs her. Make no mistake about it. Cardi B does not need to Offset to sell singles or to do anything, to have a successful album or any of that. People are listening to Cardi B's music. Like, they were listening to it, period, without Offset. Offset has benefited from Cardi B being on that track, that song, on his album. Like, she has elevated his career. And we need to talk about how often, men, rappers, having a desirable woman like Cardi B on their side gives them more social capital. It's two things going on, because I also think about the Daddy Shark thing, the show that they have, and Offset wouldn't have not gotten that type of opportunity had it not been for Cardi B. Offset is appealing to be mainstream because of his nuclear family dynamic and also him being married to this desirable woman. Him being married makes him a little bit more mainstream, and it softens his image up and makes him more palatable and more quote-unquote tolerable. Like, oh, okay, he is a gangster, he's hood, like the music he do, but he's still a family man, he loves his kids, and we all can quote-unquote connect to that. And I don't think folks understand how images of family and being married play into how we perceive people. Think about all of the presidents that we have had, all the male presidents that we have had that, well, all of them have been men. Think about how often, their wives, the first lady, had to come out and give them some, elevation, offer a different type of side of them to sell that family man. Oh, he's married, so he can't do any harm. How we see marriage, girl, we are so socialized. And the more I take a a step back and look, I'm like, oh my gosh, we are really socialized. Because how many times have we heard of one person who is usually white doing something that was horrendous or traumatic or tragic to a group of people or whatever, oh my gosh, they did something really bad. How often do we see that person when they show pictures of them on TV and on the media, it's a picture of them with their kids? And people's first response, oh my gosh, why would he do that? He had a wife and kids. He had a family. Why would he do that? Because that is associated with goodness. Like, you can't do things like this, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be married, have children, and, you know, be in this nuclear family. That, like, this is the ultimate goal in your life. How can you do harm? Because folks who have families and stuff are not harmful. Who gets to say that? Where does that come from? Where does that come from? Like, why do we have the image? And we see so often, even when it came to Megan Good holding hands with Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is a single black man. He's not married. He was in court because he had did some things to his ex-girlfriend who was white. What was Jonathan Majors doing before the court date and even when he got to court? He got in a relationship with Megan Good, another desirable black woman, because you can't go get a white girlfriend again because it's not gonna look good. So you get this black desirable woman who softens your image and takes away that you could be an abuser. Image is so important in how we see and how we react to certain things, how our brain interprets stuff. Like, we're seeing this person married, therefore they have to be a good person, but there's nothing in no history that has like shown us that someone being married makes them a better person. It doesn't. But the illusion of that is good enough to be used. That is why Offset has been able to move and do certain things. That's why Offset being married to Cardi B has given him more visibility. Like, period. Now, what I find ironic about this is Offset was begging Cardi B to get back with him. He was on a tour, like I said, to get her back. Never did change the behavior, because there was many rumors of Offset cheating and doing other stuff that kind of happened. And even there were times where it wasn't, you know, no cheating going on, but someone made a comment or made it seem as though he had did something or making up things. Cardi B had to then go online. She felt the need to go online and say that that did not happen. Offset necessarily wasn't engaging in that. He'll probably send a tweet or like something, that's it. But that was Cardi B doing all of the work, because at the end of the day, him cheating makes her look bad. And that's how misogyny works. Like, him cheating makes her look bad. We're not focusing on Offset like breaking his wedding vows and his whatever, his promise and his commitment to his wife. We are talking about this woman who is in a relationship with a man who cheats. And I just, oh my gosh, and I know I probably spoke on it and said some things in the past, but I am just really committed to like understanding misogyny and how I play a role in it, and just really unraveling and unpacking how we move and how I, as a content creator, someone who talks about the culture or whatever, how I engage in conversations and stuff, and how me as a man, it's so easy for me to play into this because we live in a misogynist world, period. Like, we live in a patriarchal society, period. So just looking now at the commentary, it's messed up. Like, it's messed up to see Cardi B having to be dragged. And I know some folks, because let me go ahead and hit that on the head too. Because I know some folks are going to say, well, y'all don't have the same type of energy when it comes to Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj didn't do the harm. True, she did not. She did not do the harm that her husband did. But Nicki Minaj has also used her own influence and her own resources to silence the victim of her husband. So that is why she be getting tagged too, because she's also played into that. She inserted herself by putting misinformation out about this person being white when come to find out it was a black woman. So that's why Nicki Minaj does be, get her wig tugged too. But we are giving her more flack than we are her husband. But that also goes because she is a celebrity and her husband doesn't have celebrity status like that. So it's just like, girl, get that man out of here. But I think at the end of the day, considering how much we push women to find a husband and get married, do all this other stuff, I don't really feel like women really benefit from much from getting married. Because look at all the things, look at the cheating, all the other stuff, like, and it's not something new. Men have been cheating. I mean, child, a lot of our grandfathers and great-granddads and stuff have had kids outside of their relationships. Like, there's so many stories of folks sharing finding out that they got a brother by another person, or like they got a step brother or something. I know in my family it's somewhere, but I can't think. Before, like, it was just, it's just a thing. And women do not benefit from this stuff. They do not. They lose the most. They lose the most. Even when it comes to women, like being in a relationship with somebody for 2-3 years, and it's like, girl, you been with that man for 3 years, and he ain't put no ring on your finger. It's just like, why are we not dragging this man for dating this woman and not for 3 years, and he ain't making the commitment? Like, why is it? Because it's just like, that's how patriarchy works. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my gosh, like, I'm just like fascinated how bad it is. And this whole situation is really sad. I have empathy for Cardi B. I have empathy for her because when he walked on that stage and he did that, that was manipulative. And you can tell she was completely uncomfortable. And whoever was on that team and whoever allowed that stuff should be reprimanded. I hope they were reprimanded because that is manipulative. And that happened 5 years ago. Now you got Offset's sister out here liking tweets and being shady. It's just, I don't even understand what's the purpose of, like, y'all all dunking on this woman. At the end of the day, Offset is the one who has done wrong multiple times. Yes, I'm pretty sure Cardi B has made some mistakes in the relationship. I'm pretty sure. But ultimately, we have seen it several times with him doing certain things that can cause embarrassment to her, and she should not. He should be getting it. But men don't lose any of that like that. They can still survive. Think about Future. Right now, Russell Wilson is doing practice on the football court, and the team is playing Future. There was a story coming out, like, every time he goes to practice, they make sure to play Future songs all day. All he's done is gotten a relationship with Ciara and marry her and accepted her children. But why do we need, like, what's the reason for doing that? Future, how old is Future? Is grown as hell with 20 different kids by 20 different women. He's still able to do certain things. Now in this breakup, I would not be surprised if Offset takes advantage of this and puts it in music and do other things. I wouldn't be surprised. And I hope that Cardi B, is able to write about her experience or whatever and do whatever she needs to do to heal, whatever that is. She does not have to tell us about it because she said she did not want to talk about it. She said she honestly wanted to come out and talk about her and Offset not being together for a while, but she was nervous about it because at the end of the day, she will be the one reprimanded. Like, oh girl, he must have cheated again. It's just like, why are we not mad at Offset for doing it? Why are we mad at her for being the victim? So if we think about that, we think about how we're mad at, and when I said we, I'm talking about society, because I know that's not everybody, but figuratively speaking. But if we are mad more at Cardi B for being the victim, how do you think it works when it comes to other things, i.e. abuse, rape? Like, how do you, we give the victim more flack than anybody else, and the victim is oftentimes a woman. I don't know. The whole thing is just a lot. I hope Cardi B is able to heal. And I hope she's able to take some time to herself because there was a lot to listen to, a lot to hear, a lot to see, and the tweets and stuff. You can just tell that she's experiencing stuff. And Offset is being a child right now, posting pictures of him listening to Money. And I hope his money dwindles up. I really do. And I hope that Cardi B is able to prove that she doesn't need him, didn't need him, and is going to continuously be successful without him. Period.